The strength of an organization really, it's about its people and how they can take a challenge, sometimes go into an unknown territory and really find a solution. And this is about, not being afraid to make a mistake and to learn from it. I always tell my own organization, making change is not easy. No one has a solution. We have to find it ourselves. Of course, we try to minimize the risk and try to control the outcome and get to the goal that we have in front of us. But in the end, it's our ability to go through the process, knowing that there may be mistakes, but those can be learning experiences for you and will make us stronger.
街と自然が寄り添い、アウトドアを身近に感じられるオレゴン州ポートランドで1938年に誕生したコロンビア。実用的かつ機能性の高い製品を80年以上にわたって提供し続けてきました。四季を通して美しくも険しい自然の中に踏み出すきっかけを作りたい。その体験を通して人々のアウトドアライフを豊かなものにしたい。私たちの製品のすべては扉の向こうの世界を楽しむために作られている。Made for Outside コロンビア。
本日はお忙しいところ誠にお時間取っていただきましてありがとうございます。
Thank you for having me.
我々もですね、お客様から学ぶお客様の事業戦略をですね、いろいろとお伺いしてですね、今後ますます御社に向けてですね、また業界に向けて新しいサービスを提供していきたいというふうに考えておりますので、今日はいろいろと御社の戦略ですとか今後の展望ですとかそういったことも含めてですね、いろいろとお伺いさせていただければと思っております。よろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いします。Columbia Sports Wear Company has a portfolio of 4 active brands: Columbia, Mountain Hardwear, Prana, and Sorel. And we like to tell the Japanese consumer the stories and the DNA behind each brand, what we stand for, what the values are. First and foremost, as a global company, we want to tell about the brand's DNA. For example, talking about Columbia, the mantra for the brand is "We unlock the outdoors for everyone." And there's a whole team of research and development back in the headquarters in Portland, developing new technologies all the time, some of them very innovative. And then we can take those functional benefits and build them into the products that we develop. So it's important for us to be perceived as a global brand. But of course, doing business in Japan requires a strong level of adaptation and differentiation. Let me make an example. Japan is one of the largest markets for apparel and outdoor in the world. But if you think about the geography, it's almost as small as the state of California, and 125 million people living. So there's a very high population density. And this drives, a high fragmentation of retail. You have many store formats in major commercial areas. You also have people and consumers visiting our stores with a very high frequency. So as a consequence, we have to have a very wide product assortment. In order to achieve that, we decided a long time ago to add to the global collection also a locally developed collection only for the Japanese market that gets sold with specific marketing stories and product and store concepts. So this adds to the complexity of the business, but it's a way to be relevant to the Japanese consumer by developing products here in Japan, specific, tailored to their needs. In the end, we believe that we provide solution to the consumer. The goal is to have the consumer enjoy the outdoors to the fullest. And so we want to take care of the protection part. We believe somehow to be in the weather business. When it's cold, when it's hot, when it snows, when it rains, you want to be protected, well protected, and still be able to enjoy camping, hiking, and all sorts of activities. And this is why, we want to provide functional benefit that we put into our products to unlock the outdoors, to make sure that you don't have to think about being safe and protected, you just go out and have fun. I think that every brand, every company has to evolve if they want to continue to do successful business over many years. And in that sense, we're no exception. I have to say that I believe that one of our greatest milestones has been the ability to develop a company culture, a corporate culture with a high level of engagement of the employees in crafting our market strategy and our success strategy. Let me make a few examples. Last year in 2021, we successfully deployed for the first time our omni-channel platform. Well, that is the result of a process that started back in 2018, where we took about 20% of our employees. We put them in a room and we said, well, we've been doing so far very well, but what do we need to go to the next step? Something needs to be changed, something needs to be added, something needs to be stopped, and something needs to be kept. And so we got a lot of contribution and participation, and that's one of the outcomes. We did the same this year, 2022. We believe we are almost out of the pandemic, and the world has changed in many ways. The consumer has changed. And we said, we need to know what to do next to continue growing successfully. So we took about 25% of the office employees. We said, now you have to talk to each other and really want to decide together, the management and the employees, now what we need to do to continue to grow successfully. And this will translate starting from next year in process changes, organizational changes, different allocation of resources. But the fact that has been grassrooted from the bottom and really passed through each level of the organization makes that decision very strong, and everyone will believe in it. But personally, I also think that there are other ways of achieving milestones. One way is really to continuing being very relevant to the consumer, and just I want to cite one quick example. A couple of years ago in Kyoto, we found a 100-year-old Japanese house that was going to be knocked down, and we said, stop it. We want to have it as it is. And so we brought it back to life and renovated a traditional Kyoto Japanese house, and we turned it into a store. And it's been very successful with our employees, our consumers, and even visitors from abroad. Well, the past and the future seem to be heading in a different direction. I would say that there's a lot more unpredictability in the world this day, especially in terms of the consumer. If we think about the pandemic, the consumer had to work from home, get on a train, come to the office in the afternoon. There was a lot more mobility. For example, this has created an incredible demand for backpacks, which was completely unforeseen and unexpected. Similarly, in terms of how global events, like could be a war or a pandemic, can clog the supply chain and cause inflation. And how do you react to that? You have to review your whole price strategy, for example. So I think that the unpredictability of the future is what's causing many people and many companies, and we're doing the same, to adopt and to rely more on technology and digital. And we want to do it in two directions. First of all, I think that getting more vertically integrated is important, getting to know how the business is performing in terms of big data or consumer insights so that we can use that knowledge to develop our future products. And the other one is getting a business model that's more agile, that's more flexible, that can do a quick response. And let me make an example. During the pandemic, we had lockdowns, we have state of emergencies, and often some of the stores were closed, and we had to quickly consider how can we reallocate that inventory to other stores. You need, technology today can help you to do that, but you really need to have a clear plan on what you need. We will never have enough technology to deploy. The question is always, what do you need? Today in the world of technology and digital, you can do pretty much anything you want. The point is you need to have very clear ideas what you need. Any technology is good? No, it's the technology that solves your problem that's the one you need. And so first and foremost, you understand your goal. What am I trying to achieve? How do I measure success? And then the second point is, how do I get there? Technology can be can be a good enabler, but at the same time can be very difficult to master. It may become vice versa, kind of bringing some inefficiency in the system if you don't have people who know how to use and to make a best use of that technology. So I think that knowing your goal and how to get there is the most important thing. In that case, technology is no more an enabler. It can turn into a competitive advantage. Those who have it can do something that others can't. Most of the time, I believe it's a trial and error. Of course, you have a goal in front of you and you think you can achieve it in a variety of ways. But as you build and implement the project, then you realize something unexpected, for example. And so I think that the biggest value for a company is to have an organization that's not afraid to fail or to make a mistake. We have a very well-known mantra, which is trying stuff since 1938. It's been one of our advertising campaign for many years. And that really summarizes this concept of saying, you don't know until you try it. And if you make a mistake and you learn from that, then it's okay. And then having 90% success and 10% mistake, maybe it's okay as an outcome. I think most important is don't be afraid to take a decision and minimize the risk, but be prepared to potentially, make a mistake and learn from it. That's the best way to proceed, I think. In a world that's so quickly changing and becoming unpredictable, immobilism, which is doing nothing, is not an option. You have to be prepared to react quickly, potentially making a mistake and learning from it. The strength of an organization really, it's about its people and how they can take a challenge, sometimes go into an unknown territory and really find a solution. And this is about, not being afraid to make a mistake and to learn from it. I always tell my own organization, making change is not easy. No one has a solution. We have to find it ourselves. Of course, we try to minimize the risk and try to control the outcome and get to the goal that we have in front of us. But in the end, it's our ability to go through the process, knowing that there may be mistakes, but those can be learning experiences for you and will make us stronger. And in this sense, I think that in the words of our chairman, Gert Boyle, she used to say about a product, it is perfect, now make it better. Always try to find and move to the next step and make a product that sounds and looks perfect even better. Thanks.